Welcome to Talking Soccer, Talking Football. We are live with the usual suspect, Brian, Longa, Kunangale, Liverpool men, and Umtare, Thai, Midlands, Arsenal fan, and obvious myself, as you can see, the Chelsea. We invite other fans from other teams to join us in the show. We talk about football results from across the world, especially Premiership, which is the people's favorite, as well as AFCON currently going on. We are live. It is a Monday evening. Hello, gents. Unjani, Brian, hi.
Tshisa, how are you doing? And good evening to everybody joining us. I'm sure even in America, it is it's evening. I need to, yeah, it's nearly evening. So, no, good evening to everybody joining us all over the place. Good morning, Mouse, Australia, Livugile.
Yes. And then we've got to Thai. Hi, Thai.
Hello, Tshisa. Brian. Thanks for having me back on the show. It's good to be here.
Yeah. Uzwakala ukhuluma phezulu njenge-Arsenal fan ibakhe yakwazi ethi namhlanje. We are currently being helped by Remit. Remitly is a new kid on the block, and if you want to send money to Zimbabwe, you can use them. You can find them. You can send money just by downloading the app Remitly, and then you can send. It helps us to get the data. I know I started with data. Now I'm struggling with network, but I've got data. I've got plenty of data, but the network is a problem. We are live from across the world, and there's a dear friend of ours who is a Manchester City. Where there's a Celtic guy, a Manchester City guy. Tim, hi, Tembu, right? Tembu, Assis, highly flavored. Assis, open the microphone. Okay, what is this sorting himself? Brian, give us the results, say.
Yes, sir. Well, we'll talk about the good ones later on, but looking at the results over the past few days, we had the FA Cup as well, and we had AFCON. Notable result in AFCON was Namibia winning 1-0, obviously Mali beating South Africa as well. And within the FA Cup, a notable result was West Ham losing to Bristol City, and Everton winning, sorry, against Crystal Palace 1-0. And AFCON with the DR Congo Zambia 1-1 draw. That was a notable result as well. Coming into the weekend now, where things get a bit more spicy, the Premier League was back. Remember, it's the winter break, so we only had 4 Premier League games this weekend, and next week we are back to full on Premier League games. With Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, Arsenal won that game by 5 goals to 0. And with Brentford versus Nottingham Forest lost that game by 3 goals to 0. Sheffield United and West Ham drew 2-2, and Bournemouth versus Liverpool won that game by 4 goals to 0. The notable results in AFCON as it stands at the moment is the one that's just happened today, where Equatorial Guinea beat Ivory Coast by 4 goals to 0. And at the moment it's happening. Cape Verde, Egypt, locked at 0-0. Mozambique and Ghana locked at 0-0 as well, just 2 minutes into those games. That's where we are, Tshisa.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Timber, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you, Linjan Donke. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah. Good evening. Guys, we want you to like or subscribe to Honor Television on Facebook. We're online as well. Thank you very much. And via various platforms, we are streaming live. We want to thank Asakane, want to thank One Handa, want to thank Broward 24, want to thank quite a number of online media houses. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to stream live on your platforms. Right, guys, we saw what happened at the weekend. Where do we start, Brian? Let's give them Caesar. Where should we start discussing today?
We can start at home. We start with AFCON because there's so many games that have played so far.
So how are the games so far? How are the games so far?
All the teams, I think, have played 2 games and some have played 3. And the surprising result is obviously host nation Ivory Coast, who have just bowed out. Yeah, and the South African group as well is quite interesting because everyone's still got a chance to qualify on that group. So yeah, it's one of those interesting games.
Looking at Ivory Coast losing, is it bad for the competition? What do you think the turnout of fans, will they come to the stadium after this?
It would be very hard for the fans to continue attending matches. I think it is a disaster for the competition, and it's quite shocking.
So
Yeah, I think,
so guys, yeah, Brian, get on.
I think on the fan side, really now we are relying on the likes of, Ghana probably doing something, likes of Guinea as well, Equatorial Guinea, who are close by doing something, the likes of Mali. Let them do something so at least we can get some fans into the stadium, because at the moment, honestly, it's been disappointing. Even when Ivory Coast are playing in 60,000 seater stadium, you're looking at 20, 30,000 people in there. The crowd hasn't been shocking. So it has been shocking. So I don't know whether it's to do with ticket prices. We already know that travel is not the greatest within the continent, but equally, if it's a home nation, why are we struggling to fill the stadiums out, even putting school kids in there, or something? What's the issue? What's the matter? I don't quite understand, because yeah, it's been disappointing in terms of turnout so far.
I think what they could have done to save this competition, they should have said the entrance is free. To be honest, because if they're seeing that the tickets are not going, they should have just said no. What? Matches are free, maybe except for the host nation, because there will be stampede and things like that. But other games, just go in and watch the game.
Yeah, Mtembo, this is an embarrassing moment for the Ivorians, being the host nation and seeing your team failing to proceed out of the group stages. Yet they are taking 3 teams, but already looks like they're gonna finish bottom.
Yeah, it's very embarrassing. Again, this shows how improved other nations have become and how competitive African football is emerging in the world. If we look at the team setup of Ivory Coast, it is made up of internationals. They've got great exposure to international matches, but they are succumbing to the upcoming and organized teams within the African continent. Again, I think what we should also look at again is, like you are saying about the support. First round matches aren't supported quite a lot in continental matches. When we start to get traveling fans tripping in when their teams progress to the second round, when it's knockout stages, we get a trickle in of fans. But I think again, Tshisa and everybody else in the panel, I think this is our letdown in African football, where we are so hungry for profits, and we negate the fact that if, let's say, a ticket costs, if we go for charging, let's say, a match at 20, maybe equivalent to $20, why don't we reduce it to $7 so that at least out of 3 people, three people will make that $21, and there'll be more people coming in, and you maximize your profits. Just like the pound shops, they sell quantity rather than
but we can't tell, because a lot of people, even if it's cheap, even if it's free, some of the fans don't even go to watch a team which don't belong. I don't think if Brian will go and watch what do you call it, Bournemouth, maybe playing Wolverhampton, even if it's free.
Oh,
People
come on,
tend to
Tshisa.
love their team.
Tshisa,
you won't even get a seat, Tshisa. You won't get a seat there.
Guys,
The locals will fill the ground.
Even umbhejo kodwa disco yakudala during the day, people will flock, when ama players will come during pre-season, what do you call this, season break. bezidlalela kuphela uthole vele kugcwele, you know, like it was so, I mean, soccer fans will crowd. Even in South Africa, you remember South Africa when it hosted the World Cup, I mean, they subsidized because the country is economically wise. You subsidize these things. Even itwa in le esand West World Cup le oil le what do you call this? Is an
Okay.
Islamic state.
So looking at the teams now, guys, I think the favorite, a lot of people thought Ivory Coast to win it. Definitely got international players, got the stars playing the Premiership in French League, in Italy, and everywhere, but they failed the nation. So what should happen now? I saw Didier Drogba. Drogba was very disappointed. Looking at Cameroon as well, Eto's team seems to be struggling. And you remember, they passed a vote of no confidence on Eto, the FA president. So do you think after this Eto will remain? He said he wants to check out all the players and they start with the youngsters, because he believes these guys are captured or they're sabotaging the nation.
It's a difficult one, because to say you're gonna get rid of all the playing staff is very tough. Maybe there's something that is also not doing right, because with African football, there's so much politics, especially when it comes to tournaments. There's always somebody's looking for money. There's no patriotism anymore. To say, oh, we're gonna play these things of bonuses, we'll talk about them later or anything, something like that. So every time there's always something brewing. It's either there's gonna be a strike or there's gonna be something happening. So there's a danger, a potential danger to happen, that maybe the tournament or game won't be played, maybe players on strike and something like that. So it's quite a tricky one to say, because I think the players, they are the ones that they are to be blamed, because they always believe that there's some money that the big dogs are getting, but I don't think there's a lot of money that is involved there. They just should play the game.
Yeah. While it's on that one, the AFCON, Ghana has been out at a penalty. I know you all people watching. Do you believe that is a penalty?
Ghana has been out at a
I
penalty.
just want to check the replay.
In today's football, that is a penalty, unfortunately. It is very soft, but this is where football is at the moment. Any level of contact in the box is a penalty. Because when they send it up to VAR, they're going to slow-mo it and show the contact, even if it's the most minimal of contact. But in slow motion, it will look worse than it is. So, unfortunately, it will be given as a penalty.
Yeah, I saw the other day, VAR, which took about 3 minutes because of that defender. Was actually helped that the VAR to come in after 3 minutes. The referee, already the player was about to take a penalty, and they called him to say, "Come and see." After over 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same debate that we have in the Premier League every weekend, isn't it? Where we talk about the VAR, how it's being utilized.
In terms of referee standard, I saw a good referee today. The female referee was taking charge of the Nigerian game. That woman was excellent. Did you watch it?
She was phenomenal.
Yeah,
what I liked
about
her is she let it flow very well. Yeah.
Yeah. So the game was flowing. Did you watch it? Ty seems not to be concentrating. He was watching something. Did you watch that?
I just want to watch I watched the other game. I watched Ivory Coast. I didn't watch the Nigerian game. Whose ref was it? Is it the South African lady? What's her name?
The ref was good. I thought it's coming from the the Arab countries.
I thought as much.
Ghana scores 1-0. The Premiership player for Aston Villa. Is it for Aston Villa? Where does he play? Oh, Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, yeah.
Palace, yeah.
One of Hodgson's friends.
So, okay.
That would be a good sort of entrance for us there, Tshisa, in terms of what's happening with Crystal Palace. Does Roy Hodgson stay or not?
Sorry?
Does Roy Hodgson stay at Crystal Palace or he's done?
Yeah, he's still in Crystal Palace.
Because there's a manager. How many games has he lost now? About 5 in a row, 6 in a row?
Yeah, but you look at Patrick Vieira, they fired Patrick Vieira for nothing.
Yeah, I think Watson is it's pension time. The problem is here in the EPL, they don't criticize English players or English what do you call these managers. The way they will.
You remember they called him from he had retired when they fired Patrick Vieira, and then they
Yes.
called him back. So to fire him it will be another thing, unless if they ask him nicely at the end of the season to go, because it looks like they will survive and then ask him nicely to step down.
Yeah, I think they are just doing a respect thing, but it's costing the club. I mean, that was dismal performance. Obviously, Arsenal, it helped Arsenal a lot, to regain their pride after being wounded for the couple of past weeks.
Restore their pride.
I don't know, bro, what you're talking about.
Am I right?
I don't know what you're talking about, but what I'm saying, what I saw the game is Arsenal is rejuvenated from the warm weather training.
Oh, come on! Even Everton beat Crystal Palace. Come on, Tal.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That it was advantageous to Arsenal, because now they are just floating on cloud 9 now, thinking they can beat anyone. But I know they will be humbled in the next coming days, unless they buy a striker, obviously.
And you won't be humbled yourself.
No, I mean we are open ourselves. I mean, myself this year, I'm telling you, I think we're treading on thin line. I think it's expected that if you win a Trump or win all these big trophies, second, the seasons after that you are not on full gear. It's expected. I mean, it will be surprising if City win the league, but I don't think they will win it.
Are you trying to say Manchester United might win it? What I say? Because
no, not Manchester United. No. I'd rather let Arsenal or Liverpool win it.
But we've got Utebe here believes that Manchester will still win it. Utebe.
Hey, good evening, Tshisa. Good evening, Spikos, hello. You know his neighbor name. Well, we don't. I mean, I'm a Glory fans here, so we are not surprised with how they speak, But as for United, this season is a write-off for us. That's just being honest. We've got a lot of building to do, and we've got a lot of wrongs to correct.
But you've been building since Ferguson left. You've been building.
Yeah. As Nizinto, they do happen. Life has happened to us at United. It happened to Liverpool. It took them 30 years to win the league.
Is it not the same Tebe who was laughing and celebrating? Is it not the same Tebe who was celebrating daily that we've got the hashtag, we've got hashtag 10 hag? Hey, the guy is good from Ajax. We're gonna win everything. Is it not you?
Yeah, we've got a coach. We've got to give our coach some support. We can't just We've got to support our man. He's doing a job, and unfortunately, it's not working well at the moment.
The coach is part of the problem. There's nothing that is solving. Is the problem himself?
I know.
The way he has sent some of these players is not good. The Church and Sancho and
I feel there are some players who feel entitled. There are some players who feel entitled, who feel like udlala ngenamba, udlala ngebizo, ngenamba, uthi mina sengile number. You don't. That's not how we understand football. You have to practice and train. Yes.
Tebe, when all of you condemned Ronaldo when Ronaldo became honest and told you where the problem was, you all Manchester United supporters.
Ronaldo, that was nonsensical. Ronaldo is nonsensical.
Hold on. You said Ronaldo was divisive. Yes, you condemned Ronaldo. Then you
and I'll still condemn him.
You let Pogba go. You've been leaving out Rashford, but all the players still they're failing to win.
Yes, Ezra, just
But
to add on that
that's the
one.
same mentality ngitsho phela Tshisa ukuthi these players are ngama players who feel entitled, who feel ukuthi because
No,
mina Ronaldo I
come
must
on, come
play,
on,
because
come
mina
on. These are
Pogba I
his
must
players.
play.
These are
Huh?
these are Ten Hag players. These are Ten Hag players. What are you saying, Tim?
You know what? In addition to that, they were up in arms on Jadon Sancho. Now the boy is just gone out and his talent is being used somewhere else. It's just a confused team that is clinging on past glory and history, and they are not moving with the times. In Manchester United.
Correct.
If you want to see how confused they are, go to and see the stadium that is called Old Trafford and look at how dilapidated it's become. And then you can tell me, do they expect to have a kind of progressive thinking in there? You will see there is more than meets the eye.
Yeah, there's a massive big problem that needs to be rectified from the top.
But with the
it's a
problem with you,
recognition, it's an acknowledgement. Yes, we've got a big problem that needs to be solved. From the ownership,
but you are blaming the players. They're saying they think they've gotten some self-entitlement.
Yes, there are some players who are entitled.
Which player?
Eh?
Which player?
When you have people who are Ronaldo saying what he should play week in, week out, he was an old hag. He was nearly finished. He wasn't performing in Rome. He was still a 17-year-old or 19-year-old.
Ronaldo hasn't been there. You are losing games. Ronaldo hasn't been there the whole season. This one hasn't been there. You are losing games. So why are you still talking about Ronaldo? Tell me which player.
No, it's because you named him, You named him as an example of a player that was mismanaged by Ten Hag.
Yeah, but Ronaldo, I'm saying Ronaldo told you the truth.
It's not as why these things are old, what. That's an investor problem. Whoever are the owners, they need to invest in the stadium, they need to make changes. It's not a coach problem.
No, Ten Hag is failing, and I think you need to understand that, you guys. As quickly as you understand it, Ten Hag is failing at Manchester United. He is not fit for that club. There's clubs that could work for him, clubs such as Crystal Palace. Amazing place for him.
Yeah.
I think he'll do very well there. And as we're here, let's look at some of the comments here coming in from the guys. As always, from Ajax Ayanda, thank you very much for joining us. Ivan Doe, Philip Sibanda. And Philip Sibanda is saying, I think Crystal Palace job is for Graham Potter, which might be true because he was seen at Selhurst Park recently. And Umakas Dabeng was saying Ronaldo was a selfish ego individual. And Rashford, I suppose, is the same as he says here. And Dumkondis is saying Menu is not entertaining anymore. It's not giving him the same vibe. They are anti-football. Look at what they did to Sancho. Marcus Dabeng also comes back and says Sancho is playing in a farmers league, so let's not even talk about him anymore. Tabius on Dex, directing this one straight to you, Tshisa. Tshisa, can you perhaps by any chance, know where Teenage Hadebe is going to play for the next team Teenage Hadebe is going to play for?
I'm not sure about that. What I'll do is I'll try to WhatsApp him and ask him, but he had hinted that there was a Saudi team which wanted him. I don't know whether he wants to go there to make some moolah before he retires, because there's moolah there, or he will still play for an American team. I'm not sure, Tavis. Yeah. So, guys, we have seen what is going on in Manchester. A lot of people are predicting that they might be battling in the bottom half till the end of the season. And some say they might be playing and struggling. They're fighting to survive against a team like Bournemouth or Everton and all those bottom teams, what call Burnley. They are actually ready Manchester the way they are playing, that they might be struggling to survive this year. But I'm sure the referees will do a good job to save them. we know what will happen. They won't allow Manchester United to go down. So definitely they will, they will save them. Yeah, because
I think they've got enough to stay up. Yeah, they've got enough to stay up.
yeah, I can see Ty as well trying to join Liverpool or trying to go to City when they get relegated. So it won't surprise me when you see Ty, not a Ty, Utebe, putting on the jersey at Liverpool. Because definitely at
Hey, hell
Arsenal,
no.
we don't need
Hell
people like
no.
him.
Hell to the no. I mean, I'm not a glory fan, Tshisa. I've always been United from the time that I started understanding football. I will not
When
change.
Ferguson took over and started winning the
I'm not a
trophies.
glory fan.
When
Eh?
Ferguson was winning trophies, that's when you
No,
come
no.
on,
I mean,
guy, come on, man.
All right. We saw the
if
return of.
that's as far as my memory can take me, which that's when I started understanding football and started supporting teams, foreign based teams. Yeah, then that would be correct. But I didn't follow United because they were winning trophies. No.
Yeah. I'll tell you later on what team Tebe supported before. But guys, we saw the return after 8 months. The return of Ivan, what do you call him? Ivan Tony of
Tony.
Brentford. Yeah, Tony. We saw the free kick. Even Philip Sibanda is saying Arsenal should bid for that. We know all Arteta that Arteta is an arrogant coach. He definitely won't go for him. But we saw the guy that he is a talented guy. Did you see the free kick?
Yes, and I thought it was very clever. I don't know. I don't see what the noise is about. Now I said he cheated. He cheated. That's all nonsensical. I wonder what jealous won't come out.
Mm.
Honestly, how many
Yeah,
times have we seen a throw in, people walking 60 yards to take the throw in? How many times have we
correct.
seen the ball moved from some of them not even on the line on the corner spot when we know the
Mm.
Yes,
rule is very straightforward? The ball has to be on the line.
yeah, especially Alexander Trent. He loves cheating, walking 20, 30 meters.
Such a talented player who should be well revered by every football loving individual in this world because it does things that no other player can do at the moment in world football. Come on, leave
Okay,
the young
so
man
I
alone.
mean, to be
what
honest,
do
to
you say
20,
about
I'm a savage.
what do you say about Tony?
Phenomenal player, man. I think he's a phenomenal player. And I think you can see what he did to Brentford. Consider you've got to really look at this thing from a contextual perspective. That when Tony wasn't around, they were struggling, and Brentford had lost about I think four or five games on the bounce.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the struggles were injuries, and the guys offered Afcon. But as soon as Tony came back, you saw how they played. They were very different. He lifted them. The stadium was noisy. I don't live overly too far away from the
And,
Brentford Stadium, and it's noisy. You can
they
hear
gave
it.
him an armband. They gave him an armband. Do you think actually giving him an armband also helped him with his confidence?
100%, because they know the importance that Tony is. They know how important he is, not only to the football club, but to the community around the Brentford, around West London. He they know he's very influential throughout the area. But I think also, um, one thing we need to appreciate is that he's kept himself fit over the past 8 months, and it's very difficult as a
Mm-hmm.
player psychologically to keep yourself going. 8 months is a very long time. That's almost a year. We're not talking about a couple of weeks off here. 8 months, he kept
Mm.
himself fit, and he still came back and he looked pretty decent.
And he
Played
was
the whole
sharp.
90 minutes as well. Yeah.
Mm.
I think I agree with Brian there 100%. I think that guy he's the equivalent of Troy Deeney in Watford, because his stature within the Brentford team and Brentford area, that area is of a role model and a local lad, so I think in terms of commandeering, you know what I mean, the team forward, he stands way advantageous of eloping Villa to become one of the greatest in England football.
Mm.
Greatest in England
So
football.
I think
Yeah,
I think
No,
if given a chance, if
100%.
given a chance, without favoritism, yama locals and aba influencer, you know, these commentators aba influence England selection. I mean, Kama Pandits, yeah. You know, that boy is something else. He's out of this world.
I think he needs to move to a bigger club so that his talent can be appreciated and complimented as well.
You was still one thing about these players. You need to move to a team that plays the football which suits your style of play. Yeah, one Nacho. If he had played in his as abo Mourinho,
Mm.
Mourinho would have loved him because Mourinho
Yeah.
uses those powerful strikers who hold the ball and bounce off people and bump people about, you know. But amanye amateam la khona la akathesi
But you see, this is what I
angazi
think makes him
angazi.
special. This is what I
I
think
think
makes him
that's the first
special,
time I've
Ivan Tony,
agreed.
because
I've agreed with. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I said I think this is the
Mhm.
first time I've agreed with the Manchester United support. Yes, Udotalwana, if Pardew, I don't know what your thoughts are about Pardew, but Pardew knew how to develop players of that caliber and turn them into household names. I don't know what you guys think.
no, I agree. I really agree. But I disagree on the part of Tony. I think Tony is more than just a big bullish striker. I think
Mm,
Tony has got more attributes than that. Not only
mm,
can he play wing, not only can he hold the ball up, not only can he drop in and play and sort of start influencing the ball from midfield, he can do that, right? He can go to the wing, he can drop in and play almost at what Harry Kane was doing when he was at Tottenham the later 2 years, where he can still drop in, play a halfway line, create assists, but equally at the same time scoring goals. Tony can do all of that. It's just that I think it's very unfortunate that he's at a time where England is very blessed for options up front. Because when you think of Harry Kane, when you think of Callum Wilson, when you think of Dominic Solanke, when you think of all these guys, there's about 5, 6, 7. When you think of the guy at
mm.
Aston Villa, there's
He's
about
way
5,
he's
6.
way better than Solanke, but come on,
No, no,
eh?
no. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Solanke is better than him. But I say England at the moment is just generally very blessed with a lot of options up front. And it's very difficult
Yeah.
because, even if you're to play 3 up front, you're going to put Harry Kane, he's starting. And then you've obviously got Foden, you've also got Osaka. So you can't really be put on that wing anymore. And then you can't really go in the middle because you've got Madison, you got Bellingham, you got even Osaka can still play there, even Foden. There's just so many options. Grealish, just so many options for England up front right now that is very unlucky that he came up at this time. That's where I think one of the biggest issues with Tony is. And of course, I think this example that the FA put on him is just a bit ridiculous, if you ask me.
Okay. Yeah, if you
No,
just realize this is talking
I remember there was a year where England went to the World Cup and they took an injured who was that one? Where's the about Theo Walcott?
No, they
I think
always
they
do
took an
that. That was
injured
Darren Bent.
Rooney
I'll never forget
and
that.
left
That was
Darren
Darren
Bent and
Bent.
Marlon Harewood.
That was Darren Bent when Darren
Yeah,
Bent
I
was the highest
remember.
goal scorer in England, and they took Theo Walcott, who had
okay.
never played a game.
All right. All right. Brian, prepare to read the messages. If you're just joining us, this is Talking Soccer, Talking Football. We're live. It's a Monday night. We thank Remitly for buying us the data. If you want to send money to your loved ones, download the app Remitly on Play Store, Kurapana, and then you can send money to anybody and you'll be given £10 discount. So download that app right now and send 100 with Remitly and get it £10 off for your first transfer. Use the promo code. Is there CMG 100FF. CMG 100FF. Remitly trusted by millions worldwide. What are they saying in the comments there, Brian?
Umkondisi Mabena here is saying Tony needs to step out of his comfort zone and get to a team with high expectations and competition. I think it's premature to rate him up there. He still has a lot to convince us in a high tempo team. Listen, I think one in about 1.4 goals per game. 1.4 1 goal per 1.4 games or so is not really a bad return. I think that proves that the guy is pretty good quality. Inkasela Utai, Manchester United spent too much through the Ferguson years relying on the win, hook or crook tactics and biased officiating. The transition from the Ferguson era was always going to take them a long time and it's going to be painful. The available coach that I thought they were going to knock at his door was Antonio Conte. But now, if a club is run by owners that don't have a clue about football, that's what you get. Same as what's happening at Chelsea Football Club at the moment. But yeah, so that's where we are at the moment in terms of the comments. Ivan Lowells also agrees that Tony is a brilliant player. Philip Sibanda is saying no party is injured and injury prone. Time to sell him now. I suppose the same party sell him and then bring in Ivan Tony. I suppose so.
Okay. All right. We have seen what is going on, and the competition is hotting up. I know the guy from Manchester City is gonna say we are there to stay, but I think maybe after this weekend we'll see Arsenal back at number 2. Then the other week they'll be back on the top. So chances are there if Arsenal. A lot of people, you guys argued, Brian argued last time, and say the competition is not between Arsenal and Manchester City. But a lot of people, the pundits, the bookies, they are tipping Arsenal to compete with Manchester City for the title. They are not. Liverpool's not even close.
And I'm happy with that. Let it be. I even saw the percentage.
It takes the pressure off Liverpool.
Percentage, I think, was 60% Manchester City to win the league, 30% Liverpool to win the league. And I'm okay with that. I'm really happy with that. At the end of the day, what matters is we're 5 points clear, and that's okay.
Hey, how is Salah? He was injured. Do you believe that they said he should return to rehab at Liverpool? Do you believe that it is the tactic tie by Klopp? We know Klopp is a dirty manager. He might have told the player to fend the injury then so that he returns to Liverpool.
To this guy. Dirty manager, listen to this guy. Come on, talk to your boy.
To respond to you, Tshisa, at first when the injury happened, I thought as much that maybe Salah just wants to go back to Liverpool. He's not happy there in AFCON. Because he was just running and the hamstring went, and then I thought, okay, maybe those tactics to come back. But I think they said he will come back to have his rehab in Liverpool. And then when his team progresses, because he will miss a couple of games until maybe they go to quarterfinals or something like that, that's when he can be available. So with the way they are playing without him as well, I don't think they'll go that far.
Okay, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Klopp is praying that Egypt don't proceed to the next round. We know that. Klopp,
don't they have faith in the medical team of
the
Egypt?
Diagnosis has came back. He's going to be away for 28 days minimum.
Yeah, but you know how Klopp is. Klopp doesn't like.
Salah is done because 28 days, that's a month. So that's 4 to 6 weeks.
No, that's right. No, what I'm saying, Brian, we know your manager could have done that to rest him. We know how he is.
For 4 weeks when we've got Chelsea coming up.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, listen.
Why is he resting him?
Listen. Why not leave it to the medical team in Egypt there? Why bring him back
because
here?
The contracts don't say that. Come on, guys. We've been around for long enough to know 99% of the contracts will say that medical care has to be done by the club. This is why even in England, if they get injured at St. George's Park, they go back to the home club. This is why right now one of the best medical facilities in the country when it comes to club, Fulham.
No.
When you go to Fulham, you find all of the players. They get their rehab done there as well.
Brian, hold on. Brian, hold on. We know some of these managers, they put a condition with the national teams of the players, where the players come from, and say whenever there's an injury, don't touch him, we need to come back. We have seen players leaving their own clubs and going to their home country to get treatment. We've seen players. We've seen players living in London, going to Spain, say I'm going home to get treatment. We have seen them doing that.
FIFA even stipulates that the player can go back and should go back to the home club to get treatment because who owns the player? Theoretically, who owns the player?
I do understand that. No,
yes.
I do understand.
But
but we've seen
saying that there was a player.
Even
there was a player who got injured. There was a player who got injured, came back to the club, and he was playing the next weekend. What was
because
that?
the club can look at it. Guys, let's not forget. Come on, guys. We've been around sports long enough to understand.
So are you saying then Liverpool can get Salah fit and then they can play him?
No, we've been around sports long, guys. We've been around sports long enough.
I hope you're surprised that injury is even a fake injury.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, guys, if you look at this way,
I mean, I can tell you the amount of times I played on painkillers with injections. So many times. You just accept it. And sometimes they go back to the club.
What were you saying, Tembo?
Brian, I was saying here I disagree with Brian. National duty, I mean, for a national competition like the AFCON, which is a continental championship thing, the player was released to go and participate fully into the whole competition. The fact that, yes, they're injured and so forth, the competition isn't yet over, and the injury, we don't know the extent of the injury. You know, what they've said, the extent of the injury is he going to miss all competitive games in the competition or not? So this is where the dilemma is.
And again, Tembo, Egypt has got the best doctors. Even Bernard is saying that. I know.
Yeah, but you guys, what you guys are not getting, what happened was, this is what happened. He got injured. They looked at him. The national team looked at him, and now they're saying the injury is way worse than what they feared. Hence, Liverpool have then recalled him to say he needs to be looked at by the club doctor.
This is a guy who was pictured running.
The wages.
This is a guy who was pictured. This is a guy who was pictured running. Salah was pictured running.
And there's also Toy was break dancing as well. It's not far off.
Yes.
He was pictured break dancing.
Remember, thank you very much, Mkondisi. Remember what Klopp said about AFCON. Let's remind you, Brian. Klopp, they undermine African tournaments. Yet they want African players.
Way too ahead of yourself. That was taken out of context. Even he said it. That it was taken out of context. Let's all just relax a little bit. You know, let's just slow it down a little bit.
There's so many players. There's so many players who have faked injuries or who have deliberately let their team lose because they are fearing what their places are going to go back where they've come from, where they are playing. We've seen it with the Nigerian team. We've seen it with the Nigerian squad over the past
Salah
year.
is not going to be dropped by Klopp anytime soon. We've seen Salah have stinkers. The worst games on earth, and Klopp will not even.
It just reminds me of the South African player as well. This guy who plays this striker Sepenli, who had mental health issues, so he didn't want to play in AFCON.
Yeah.
No, what's his name? What's his name? Team Gabison company. Just forget.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Ty, what we are saying, Ty, even the the guy from Leicester who refused to go and say, hey, this and that, I would go, and then he got injured and is out for 6 weeks.
All right, but we're now mixing two different things, and that's what we're doing here. We're mixing too many things at once and trying to create a debate about it.
Right.
Lyle Foster at Burnley spoke with Lucas and his Bayala.
I want you to go and rewind. Go and rewind and watch how Salah got injured in that tackle. After that tackle, they did the reverse. I know when I saw Salah running,
like it was for nothing then.
When I saw Salah running, this is a man who now was saying 28 days. Obviously, club is clever. It's going to rest this boy, come back home. That's what we know about Liverpool.
Yeah, it's obviously done a calculation with I'm a game that is going to play a useless game, so he got his player away from the AFCON, so he preserves him.
We all know Liverpool is a dirty club, a dirty coach as well. Other player is Lily Foster. Yes, it's Lily Foster who's playing good. You have to put him tight.
Like
type.
Foster, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's more to that thing of Ulai Foster than what meets the eye. That whole thing was fake because apparently they are in troubled waters. They just gave him the condition. It's either you stay here or you're gonna lose your place and contract. And you come to think of it, what they've done for him. You know, you have to choose.
But the South African Federation said it's fine. When he said he doesn't want to come, they said it's fine, don't bother, it's okay,
Yeah.
we'll do it. They didn't even kick a fuss. They don't even care for him that much. That's the
Remember,
wildest part
Brian,
about this.
when somebody says, you wrote a letter to the SAFA to say, please don't select me. So if somebody says personally, he says he doesn't want, you can't force a player to come. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So with
You
Mo
can
Salah,
under FIFA regulations.
So
Yeah,
with
but
Mo Salah, what I think happened is because he's a hero in his country and everyone worships him there in Egypt. He said, no, just go and pretend that you are there with them, but you'll be back with us in no time.
That's it.
And another thing, another thing is Manchester United Onana. This Manchester United club said, no, we request you, Cameroon Federation, delay is coming by 24 hours. We want him to play against Space. And guess what? What did he do? They dropped points 2-2. And now he went to Cameroon and played for Cameroon. The other guy didn't lose. And he comes here and concedes goals easily. So Onana as well.
Come on, guys. You know, if people are criticizing Onana for that goal. You know, talking from a goalkeeper's point of view, that was a good clearance from a punch. The defense didn't help him out by not closing that ball down, and in some of the balls even went through the defender's legs. There's not much that you can do when the ball goes through a defender's legs. You get blindsided.
Was he commanding his area? If looking, you were a goalkeeper yourself. Did you see
By punching that ball, by coming out for that ball and punching that ball, and that ball fell outside of the 18-yard box. That was a good clearance for me. And I would not blame him. I refuse.
But what we need to look at, guys, is the intent of the players. What is their reputation around competitive representing their countries? Are their hearts with their nations or their hearts are with the clubs? Are they fearing any losing their their positions or numbers or selection in their respective clubs when they are released for their national duty? So most of these African players are weary of that, and most of them are mercenaries to their national teams. We know that. Most of them go there just either for publicity stunts, knowing that they can just go there for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but their hearts are thinking of their selection back in the and again it's January window. Teams are buying, you know what I mean? Teams are buying now, and someone is in African nations thinking, my God, if I return back, am I going to be, playing regular football? So these are kind of things that we need to consider. Yes, there's some dodgy kind of injuries that we've seen. The Salah one is no exception, guys.
Okay.
It
All right.
also brings me to mind with African football.
Manchester City, go buy black players first, then maybe we can talk. African players, then we can talk. As long as you don't have African players in your team, you can't have a stake in the conversation.
It just reminds me of something as well in South African football that is happening with African football, where Morocco Swallows fired the players, 22 players or 21, 22.
That's what Eto said. Guys, look at here the surprise team of the tournament so far. He kept leading Egypt 1-0. He's leading Egypt 1-0. So already they had qualified. Because they've got 6 points. If they win today, they're going on 9. So do you think it's the surprise team of the tournament?
Cape Verde actually did well in the previous tournament.
This is the second tournament doing well for them.
Yeah, but this is better than the first tournament. Because every moment they even posited and their goals already. They are on what? They are leading Egypt now. It looks like they're gonna win all their 3 games.
That's what you get when you have good leadership in your football nation.
Where they kept bad players. The thing is, what they did is, let's talk about Zimbabwe. These Cape Verde people, they're all coming from Portugal. What they did, your children there, your child, so they actually took Avantuanas, those who are diaspora, they are playing. We're born outside, born in Portugal. This is why this team is so good.
Yeah.
Because that's what they are using. They said, no, this thing of saying, they're local players and all that, now want to develop our football. They went on a scouting mission. Get these Induans. Get this one.
You know, the problem, I think.
Get all these Nyonis, get Induans, get Maswani says, get all these players, and then make a Zimbabwe national team. So all those players, they fly. Yeah.
The problem, for example, Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Compared to Cape Verde. Cape Verde, they never had football. So they're open to our suggestions and everything. In Zimbabwe, there are some people who claim that they know everything. They've been there and done things. So they will be telling you they know better. If you come and suggest that, bring those players, they want them players playing for Dynamos and local teams there. You understand the term. So
equality of football in Zimbabwe is...
You will find I'm a pushback cool if you try to play for Zimbabwe. They will even ask you to pay the money for them to call you.
Yeah, that's why the problem with the
captain. Tshisa. You know, when it comes to coaching football in Zimbabwe at this moment in time, who actually gives those who actually runs those coaching clinics? What's the quality of those coaching clinics? Because yes, I've tried to watch those guys can't even string 3-4 passes together as a team. One catcher from the keeper, the next player with defender, from the defender, boom, family with strike. There's no building of the football.
Yeah, okay. Just like you asked, one the good Thai said, there's a problem because they tell you that the requirements are for someone to have a CAF A course. So this CAF A course, somebody comes, like Uma Melody from Botswana, to come and train people. This 3 weeks coaching, then you've got the CAF A, and then that person maybe is clueless, and is now made to be the first choice or the head coach, just because he passed the theory and all that. If you remember before, when there were no restrictions, when you could take a coach, people like Roy Pareto, they didn't have anything. But look at how they produced. Or Charles Mhlaori, they didn't have anything by then. But look at what they produced. Now they tell you, do this course, CAF A. I believe that it's just like saying, train Messi to play football. You can't. Some people have it in them. Why not give them a chance to coach? Why don't you give it a chance? Because sometimes this paper, yes, it's needed, but other people are more gifted without a paper. Raman won 3 titles in a row before he had those papers. You see what I mean? And his team was
doesn't that certificate teach you? Doesn't it teach you management skills and things like that? I don't know. Brian coaching clinics now. What does that training entail?
I think before Brian comes in, sorry, Brian, before you come in, probably you will have a much more extensive analysis of it, since you've got insight into this. But can I add into something? The why question at the why if football here in Zimbabwe? We touched this last week. Cape Verde, yes, they are bringing in these boys, but these boys have developed into a youth system as a Portugal. They've learned the basics, the organization, the psychology, all these other factors that come in to build a player. The example you guys asked last week and said, what about South Africa? South Africa proved yesterday. They went to their drawing board. and they looked at who has done well, within the South African selection. It was Mamelodi Sundowns. They've won all club competitions in Africa, and yesterday's selection was Mamelodi Sundowns. These players know each other. They've been exposed to this international, and they did wonders. They dethroned Namibia. But that's an example that I wanted to say. Guys, iZimbabwe lapana vele bathini iphaye yamalusi ungathi iphaye yamalusi othi mawuthi suyithengile uthi uyadla ubona sokunqumile emlonyeni. You don't even know where to start. Okay, Brian, you can go on.
That's a nice one. But no, the whole thing is very similar to any manager in any job. I just think it just comes down to men management. That's it. Whether you've got all the certificates in the world, if you don't know how to men manage people, you will always struggle. Your manager right now at work, whatever profession you might be doing in life, right? They might have a PhD, they might have a master's in whatever field, rocket science, whatever amazing field. But if they can't manage your group, you will always struggle to perform the way you want to perform or reach the outcomes of the business. It's exactly the same thing when it comes to football management. There's no rocket science involved. It starts with the men management of it all. One, this is why Mourinho is one of the best managers in the world. His tactics, very simple and straightforward. Banks of four, sit there, hit them where you can, hit them when you need to. That's why you can win 1-0, because they all believe in him, they play for him. And again, equally, this is why it gets sour very quickly. Because if one person goes rogue, the whole thing disintegrates internally. This is why they refresh the team quite often and quite regular. It's the same thing with Pep Guardiola. This is why they refresh the team quite regular. This is why things need to change. Same thing with Klopp. This is why he lacks a very small squad. And after a few years, everyone goes, but they're looking a bit sluggish now. And they do a rotation of players. Purely because once that men management side starts lacking a little bit and they almost get very comfortable. I wouldn't say lose confidence in them. Then things start becoming a bit shaky and you start seeing holes in some of their tactics. But it's all just down to men management. So whether these guys have got their 3-day certificates, if they can't get the players to play for them, you can do every drill in the world on the field every day, 5 days a week. They'll never execute it for you because they just don't play for you.
Yeah. Okay. Our time is almost up, guys. Round off and then tell us do you think going through to the next round, bearing in mind that before AFCON had 18 teams, now there are 24, and it looks like 3 from each group will qualify for the knockout stages. So which teams are you tipping? Egypt can still qualify at the moment, is languishing at what? Second from bottom behind Ghana. So if it finishes this way, Mozambique are out, and then Ghana will be second. What do you think? Who's gonna go all the way? Do you still tip Senegal? Just in short.
Yeah, Senegal. I saw them play the other day. Ish, they're good, man. They're good. I still had hopes for Ivory Coast. I don't know what happened with the lineup today. I didn't see Zaha, but and then they took the useless Pepe, the former Arsenal 72 million striker, who was useless, and ish.
We're listening.
Go
That's
on.
why we got rid of him. Yeah.
But and I think Congo can still do well as well. And that
Okay.
Equatorial Guinea,
Yeah.
that was that one earlier. Yeah, they were good. They were good.
My team of the
Kebo.
tournament is Cape Verde.
Yeah. Cape Verde might
Yeah,
go all the way.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
going with Cape Verde.
Tebo.
I said that about Cape Verde last week as well, that they're a team to watch. But having said that, I think they might collapse in the semi-finals. Mali is one to watch as well, because I think they haven't shown us what they are made of, because they're a team that holds up in first half and show up in the second half.
No. Okay.
Oh. Ghana got a penalty against Mozambique.
Well, so
Again.
Senegal are the big boys,
Scored it.
so they are the ones to beat. But I don't know, But Nigeria again, it's a difficult one. Guys, it's a difficult one. We have a very big, good crop of teams now emerging in Africa, like we said last week. And even this World Cup, I think all the managers worldwide, they're watching and thinking it's time for Africa now to shine.
Yeah, that's why they are saying it's a record of scouts in there. So we'll see some of the players, we'll see quite a number of players moving. I'm sure South Africa youngsters, most of them will be picked up and selected to go elsewhere in Europe to play. But guys, thank you very much for your time. Brian, your last words, please.
I still think Ghana will still do it. I always believe that in any tournament, a team needs to have a very brutal loss at some point. And usually after a brutal loss, they get together, kick on. I think Ghana has had that. And then I think now they'll just continue to build on that.
So
I'm always
you
wary of
think
teams that haven't lost.
You think like what is always happening in the World Cup, that a team which loses the first game goes on to win the World Cup, like what Argentina did, like what is it Germany the other year did and all
100%.
that. So
I
guys,
generally think a team needs a loss because you don't want your loss to come at the semi-finals or quarterfinals. You want it early, you want it quickly, so that you can all get together and say this was no nonsense, it's not working out, let's do this, and then everything just picks up from there.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for coming to the show. We shall meet in next week. Thank you very much. Tebe, today you here last week. You'd gone out with some crazy Polish guys. I don't know where you'd gone. Thank you very much for coming this way. Right.
Thank you, Tshisa. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Manalele.
Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Tembo,
guys.
thank you. Right. Brian, thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys, as always. Good night.
Good night. Thank you very much. This has been Talking Soccer, Talking Football show sponsored by Remitly. You can download the app right now and then send money, transact, and start sending money to your loved ones. They can pick up at Mkuru, some various banks in Zimbabwe. So please get in touch and then go and download the app Remitly. Yeah, Remitly, you send £100 with Remitly and you get £10 off your first transfer. You can use the promo code to get that discount. CMG 100FF. Remitly is trusted by millions of people around the world. Zam Philip Sibanda, why didn't you come to the show? Thank you very much, guys. A very good night. God bless.